Hey everybody, this is Geneva of Geneva's Closet Talk Show. How are you doing this Wednesday morning? I hope you're having a fabulous morning already. Here it is, here in the Midwest Chicago time. It is 7:59 a.m. and I decided to come on this morning right quick before I go and work out. So please excuse my workout attire. But I feel like I said this the last two videos that I did about Botham, and I think I was saying his name wrong. I think I was saying Botham John, and I really think it's Botham John. So hopefully I'll say it right in this video, and I won't, because I still may say Botham, but you know who I'm talking about. But I had not originally planned on coming on once again to talk about this because there are so many fabulous YouTubers and blog sites and media sites authentically reporting this news already. And I had not felt like I seen anything huge on it to talk about because they keep giving us little bits and pieces. Let me say this too. Hey to all my subscribers, and what's up to all of my new subscribers? How you doing, people? Thank you for joining Geneva's Closet. Now, you all have been leaving comments. Make sure you like and share this video and subscribe to Geneva's Closet if you haven't already done so. And make sure, because some things that I'm talking about over here, I will be posting on my Facebook page at Geneva's Closet. But anyway, my people, you all have been leaving some really good comments, if not on YouTube, then on Facebook, about this whole case. Some of the things that you all have been worrying about was brought up was the fact that we had heard, because it keeps changing, but we had heard that Amber Guyger, the Dallas police officer, female white lady, had been drinking. So you all was like, so where's the toxicology reports at? I mean, so did they make her take a breathalyzer? I heard some of you asking about the cameras in the hallways. Like, wasn't there some cameras in the hallways in the garage? Where's that information at? A lot of you were questioning why was there a search warrant for a murder scene? And I was like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. That makes a whole lot of sense. Most of y'all feel like the drugs was planted, that the marijuana that they brought up that they found in Botham John's home was not his and it was planted. But for the most part, all of you felt like that Botham and Amber probably did have a relationship, knew each other, and there was no way that this woman did not see that, as one of my people said it, fire engine red U-shaped rug outside of his door. One of the things that I was questioning was, where was the phone call that Amber Guyger made to police on September 6th, Thursday, that evening, when she shot and killed Botham? Like, where was that at? But now I'm starting to feel like, even if you was to give us a phone conversation, because don't they usually do that? They like, here goes the 911 phone call, and this happened on the 6th. What is today? I don't know what today is, but, today's the 19th. And we still haven't gotten anything about a phone call. But I'm at the point now that if we did hit a 911 phone call in 2018, the times that we are in with editing, y'all done probably edited that thing. So I don't even know if I would believe it. But last night, I seen this article, and so I was like, let me go on ahead and read this to the people. So this article is from WFAA.com, okay? And this is what they said. The title of it is, I'm so sorry, 911 call reveals confusion after Dallas cop kills Botham John. It says, I thought it was my apartment. Those are the words Officer Amber Guyger says dozens of times in a 911 call moments after fatally shooting Botham John in his own apartment at the Southside Flats on September 6th, according to two sources with knowledge of the investigation. Let me say this. While I'm reading this, I may stop in between to make some comments just so I don't forget what I have to say. I may or may not. Two sources described details of the 911 call to WFAA and details about the investigation on a condition of anonymity because they are not authorized to speak to the media. They're not authorized to do that. I'm so sorry, Guyger said repeatedly, according to the two sources. She told the 911 operator how tired she was and said, how did I do that? As she tries to figure out how she got into the wrong apartment, the sources said. An arrest warrant affidavit obtained by the Texas Rangers and released last week revealed that Guyger was on the phone with 911 when she flipped on the lights and realized she was in the wrong apartment. The desperation, listen to this, people. The desperation in her voice is awful, one of the sources said. Botham's controversial death ignited protests and calls for Guyger's arrest and firing. She was arrested on a charge of manslaughter on September 9th. She is currently out on a $300,000 bond and has been placed on administrative leave. And let's say it all together, people, with pay. Because they keep forgetting to tell us about with the pay pots, so we got to say that all together. She's currently out on a $300,000 bond and has been placed on administrative leave, everyone all together, with pay. I don't know why they keep forgetting to tell us that. Guyger, 30, and John, 26, lived one floor apart. She on the third floor in apartment 1378, and he on the fourth floor, apartment 1478. They did not know each other. Amber Guyger had only lived in the complex for a few weeks, That day, Guyger worked a 13-and-a-half-hour shift. Wait a minute. Didn't they say 15? And the last time I was on here, I could have sworn I said 16. They keep changing this thing, people. But right now, WFAA, who have spoken to sources that know about this investigation, are now saying 13-and-a-half-hours. So that day, Guyger worked a 13-and-a-half-hour shift, her day beginning around 8 a.m. and ending around 9:30 p.m. It's not clear how many hours she had worked that week. What damn difference does it make about her work week? What does that have to do with that day? Let the record show we know tons upon tons of people who work 12-hour shifts. Now, I don't know, because my 22-year-old daughter works 12-hour shifts. Now, I don't know if they added on another hour and a half, if my child would become delirious. I don't know if you all that's working them 12 hours, if they added on another hour and a half, would you become delirious? I don't know. Maybe you could. But that's a damn shame that officers are working 13-and-a-half-hour shifts and becoming delirious. So we got a bunch of delirious ass police officers so-called protecting us. But that's what they said. Okay. Guyger, still in her uniform, arrived at the complex and parked on the fourth floor around 10 p.m. according to the arrest warrant affidavit. She walked into the building and walked down to the fourth floor to what she thought was her apartment. The sources say John's laptop was open as if he was working. Investigators believe he was sitting on a couch but stood up when he heard the door open. The door was not locked, sources say. They said the door was not locked. It was ajar as it looked basically closed but wasn't latched. Now, here go their theory on that whole thing. The leasing agent had checked out a noise complaint around 6:30 p.m. September 6th, that Thursday. Investigators have theorized, see, this is their theory, that perhaps the door didn't shut all the way afterwards. Now, did I or did I not say my last video that Merritt, the attorney for John's family, said that that's damn near impossible because those are fire doors and they automatically slam shut. I said that maybe it had that metal thing at the top like we see sometimes with them doors. I heard one of my people that made a comment said something about those are the doors that have them springs in it. So they just spring shut. They just close. Either way, Merritt said that wasn't possible, but this is what they said, that the door was not shut all the way afterwards, after the leasing agent came, I guess, to talk to Botham John about the music at 6:30 p.m., which we still haven't seen anything about that. They haven't released not a one report or anything from the apartments, the Southside Flats apartments, saying that there was some complaints about music. And like I said before about that other thing, about her 911 phone call, at this point, If you was to show it, I don't even know if I can believe it or not. You probably done went in there and made up some stuff just to show us. And I have my theory on that. But when Amber put pressure on the door, inserting her key, it opened, one of the sources said. The door opening and hearing someone inside made her think an intruder was in her apartment, the sources said. Guyger told investigators that she and John exchanged words, but she can't recollect exactly what was said, they said. Guyger told investigators, according to the arrest warrant, that she saw a large silhouette from across the room. Now, we all know that they really want to say a large black silhouette, but they can't say. That's what they really want to say. That Amber said that she's seen a large black silhouette from, but they don't want to, because, it already sounds bad enough. They don't want to add the black in there, so they just said a large silhouette. So anyway, she saw a large a large silhouette from across the room. She pulled her gun, gave verbal commands, and fired when the commands were ignored. She fired her handgun 2 times, striking John, the warrant said. On the first responding officer's body cam, Guyger's key was still in the door, and she pushed it open to show them, the police, where the injured John lied, the sources said. John was found in the living room about 12 to 15 feet away from the door. Her vest, Amber Guyger's vest, remember in the last video we were talking about, because they only mentioned to us about the marijuana that was found in Botham John's house, but then come to find out it was some police equipment and 2 used medical something was there too. Okay, so now we get into that part. Her vest, Amber Guyger's, the gear that officers carry to protect themselves against rifle rounds, was above his head as if she knelt down next to him to assess his injury and drop the vest. I was like, Lord, the sources said. I was like, Lord. So first, this woman is delirious. Now she's dropping her vest. And these are the officers that we got protected. Why is her vest falling off? Like, that's the part that I don't understand. Not that I believe that anti-ways, but whatever. That's what they said. John, an accountant, was later pronounced dead at a local hospital. 2 fire shell casings were just inside the doorway, which is consistent with her story. They said it's consistent with Amber's story, that she fired from the doorway, the sources said. The floors and the units in the building, they all look the same. Investigators have found other tenants who have had, listen to this, people. Listen to this. The floors and the units in the building all look the same. Investigators have found other tenants who have had random people walk into their apartment in the same manner. The sources say, look, if any of y'all neighbors is out there and y'all have dealt with this before, you all have dealt with this, people just randomly, because y'all doors are unlocked too, or slightly open, and people just coming. Can you email me at genevascloset22@gmail.com and explain that to me, like what exactly happened? Because that's the weirdest thing that I done heard. But hey, investigators said that there's other tenants. And this happens all the time, basically, up in the South Side Flats. People just walking in and out of other people's apartments because the floors look the same. Last week, investigators with the Dallas County District Attorney's Office seized the door locks from both of their apartments and downloaded data from both door locks, according to inventory returns. Investigators collected additional evidence from John's apartment, including conducting firearms trajectories, measurements, and gunshot residue from the door frame and kitchen of John's apartment. They also seized logs and surveillance video for a 2-hour period on the night of the shooting. So for the ones that wanted to know about cameras and stuff like that, I guess they're saying that they seized those things and the doorknobs and all of those things. Lee Merritt, an attorney for John's family, has claimed that 2 witnesses have contradicted Guyger's account. He says they heard knocking at the door and the woman saying, "Let me in, let me in." He said one of the witnesses heard gunshots followed by a man's voice saying, "Oh my God, why did you do that?" But it's still not clear if these two witnesses are credible, okay? But a neighbor who lives directly across the hall from John did not give that account to investigators. His interview was videotaped, the sources said. Investigators believe he was in the best position to hear what happened. The neighbor told investigators that he heard an exchange of words and then immediate gunfire, according to the arrest warrant affidavit. Okay. The sources also say that the neighbor did not hear anyone banging at the door. He also could not make out what was said between the male and the female voice that he heard. The district attorney's office continues to investigate the John case and will eventually present it to the grand jury. Grand jurors could decide to choose to indict her for manslaughter, a second-degree felony punishable by up to 20 years. Grand jurors could also indict her for first-degree murder, punishable by up to life in prison, or for the lesser charge of criminally negligent homicide. That charge is punishable by up to 2 years. It is also possible that they could decline to indict her at all. Guyger has since vacated her apartment. You know what? That part where I read that, I found it funny. I found it interesting that the neighbors that said, this particular neighbor that said that he didn't hear all the commotion of the let me in, and why did you do that? That he just said that he didn't hear all of that. All he heard was gunfire. And then, that's about it. And he videotaped it. I'm assuming that sources feel like that information was credible. I found it interesting that the neighbors who said that this happens all the time in the South Side flats, apartments, people walking in and out all the time. I'm assuming that sources assume that is credible. But it's funny to me that the two neighbors that said that they heard banging on the door and heard Amber saying, let me in, and then heard Botham John, after he got shot, say, "Oh my God, I can't believe you did that." They don't know if that's credible or not. So that's not credible. This, to me, this article I found to be very biased, extremely biased. The way that they said, "I'm so sorry," and that you can hear the desperation in her. So I'm like, who the hell is WFAA? Channel 8 News. Went and looked that up, and that's a news media company. And where? Dallas, Texas. Been there ever since 1944. They ain't going against their people. What we sitting up here talking about? That was a very biased article. And I was like, whoa. So the other people, they credible. But the two witnesses that heard the let me in, they're not credible. So then I see this thing this morning, because it's hard to keep up with everything. There's so much killing and craziness in the world. It's hard to keep up with it all. You all know what I'm talking about. And if you are following me on Geneva's Closet on Facebook, you have got to be tired of seeing all the killing and all the negativity every single day. If you're not tired of seeing it, I'm definitely tired of posting it. So then I see this thing about 9 protesters this morning that I had absolutely no idea about. And this is what it says, right? In so many words, 9 protesters. Now today is Wednesday. Yesterday was Tuesday. 9 protesters were arrested Sunday for doing what? For blocking entry to a Dallas Cowboy game. And they were still in jail. Now, they were let out yesterday. They were let out Tuesday, okay? Tuesday. But they were arrested Sunday. Let me continue. Because they had blocked the entrance to a Dallas Cowboy game. And they were still in custody Monday afternoon, angering their family and reporters. And I got this. piece of information from mic.com. And all of the protesters, the picture that I seen, I think I seen 8 Black people and 1 white woman, if I'm not mistaken. And these people ages ranged between the ages of 25 and 38, if I'm not mistaken. The detained activists were demonstrating in support of Botham Shem John, a Black man who was fatally shot in his apartment September 6th by Dallas police officer Amber Guyger. Investigators say Guyger entered the home, we know, and shot him, but she made a mistake because she was delirious because she had worked either 13 and a half, 15 or 16 hours, and she either did or did not know that was a apartment. It had something to do with music. I don't know what it had to, but yeah, we all know that. There are stark differences in the way Sunday's protesters have been treated compared to Amber Guyger. Civil rights attorney Lee Merritt, who helped organize the demonstration, said in an interview Monday, at this point, the protesters' ordeal has lasted 15 hours, Merritt said. These activists were arrested for blocking the entrance. Amber Guyger was arrested for killing a man, and she was released within 2 hours. That's what Merritt said. Merritt said demonstrators arrested for nonviolent acts of protest in Dallas are usually charged with Class C misdemeanors that allow them to be released from jail immediately after bond. Okay. And they said that these protesters' bonds were set at $100 and one person's bond was set at $200. In this case, however, Merritt said John's supporters were charged with Class B misdemeanors, which require arrestees to be held indefinitely until they appear before a judge. Get the heck out of here. So Dallas can charge correctly. Charge. Ain't that about a blimp? That they charge Amber with manslaughter and not first-degree murder, because that's what they chose to do for one of their own, for one of their blue power own. That's what they chose to do. But for the protesters, instead of giving them a Class C misdemeanor, which would have, allowed them to post bond and leave, they did a Class B to make them sit in jail. Okay. It's all part of the growing controversy that's defined the John case from the outset. Dallas police and a KDFW, a local Texas news station, were widely criticized Thursday after the station reported the investigators who executed a search warrant at John's home the night he was killed had found marijuana in his apartment. Of course, it's a Texas news station. Of course, they're biased against their own. I told y'all, them Texas, Dallas, whatever, they be having deep roots. They know each other. The uncle, the grandfather, and the father, and them, and they great, and they know each other. John's mother, Allie John, told reporters Friday she believes police are trying to smear her son's name. The information received yesterday is, to me, worse than the call that I got on the morning of Friday, September 7th, John said, as quoted by the Dallas Morning News. To have my son smeared in such a way, I think shows that the persons who are really nasty, who are really dirty, and are going to cover up for the devil, Amber Guyger. Girl, you ain't never laughed. Guyger has been out on bond since shortly after her arrest. Merritt said the activists arrested Sunday are facing misdemeanor charges of obstructing a pathway. Ain't that about a blimp? So yeah, that's the world that we live in, people. And then on top of that, did you all see, I'm sitting up here dealing with 2 phones, a laptop and 2 phones, getting my information off of. I really don't even know what to say about that. That just shows you the crookedness and almost how we can't do anything about it. Don't that make you feel that you can't do anything about it? I'm sitting up here talking and reporting it, but I can't do anything about it. What can I do? Look how crooked they are. They gave Amber manslaughter. This woman sat in jail for a few hours and they claim she bonded out on $300,000. I don't believe that. I don't. She probably gave them $3. She didn't give them nothing. They gave her I bond, they lying, you know. But the protesters that got out yesterday sat in jail, you know. Did y'all see Amber Guyger's Pinterest page? Make sure you follow me on Geneva's Closet on Facebook because I posted it on there. I found that to be, it just gave you a little insight on who Amber Guyger was, which social media can do that. You can go and research a person on social media and however they talk on whatever, you see a whole different them, how they really think and what they really into on their social media. So this is three of the postings that I found, and I actually found it based on some article, but I can't remember what the article was. But it says, one of her postings that she saved to her Pinterest page says, I wear all black to remind you not to mess with me because I'm already dressed for your funeral. That's what her posting said. That's what it said, you know, in all black. There it go right there. Like I said, it's on my Facebook page. And this is was her comment that she made on it. She said, yeah, I got me a gun, a shovel, and gloves. If I were you, back the F up and get out of my effing A. That's what she put. Then another one of her postings is of a skeleton sitting on the couch, and it says, waiting on Obama to attend a cop's funeral. And yeah, and she said she saved that to the law enforcement for the police. And then this is the other one that I seen that I found probably to be a little bit more disturbing than the other ones. But she says there is a thin, it's a posting that she put. It says there is a thin line which runs through the center of darkness. The darkness represents the evil in this world. The thin blue line represents our peace keepers. The line is representative of the brotherhood / sisterhood of warriors, a few good men and women amongst a sea of darkness. The line that stands between good and evil, the barrier that serves those in need and protects them from the evil amongst us. It is thin because few dare to stand it, outnumbered but united, a line that will not falter in the wake of the enemy, a line of protection for those in need, courtesy of the police wife life. And Amber put the thin blue line protectors, because I guess you feel like they are the protectors and they are the peacekeepers. And they have a brotherhood and sisterhood of warriors. And where the hell is the black police officers at? Why? I have yet to hear. I'm pretty sure that they have, because there's always an exception. So I can say I have not, and I ain't never. And then someone to say, but I heard it. Okay, but I'm saying that I have not heard any black police officers come stand up and say something that yes, there's definitely crookedness within the workforce. So that just makes me feel like y'all can't be trusted either. In addition to the white police, now I know that there are some good police officers. Okay, there's always an exception to the rule. Now I don't know where the hell they are at. I don't know. Maybe there are a few circumstances where something happens and you're able to call them and they are able to be there. I know they be trying to put them posters up on Facebook and Instagram of the police officers hanging with the kids to make us feel a certain way in my heart. No, because overall, we don't really see that. But where the black police officers at to let us know, black people? Black people, okay. I'm a police officer too, but I just want to let you know there's some crookedness, and y'all better be careful because they will shoot to kill you. They ain't saying nothing. So you know what? If you ain't saying nothing, you are a part of the problem too. You are booty kissers too. You probably over there walking on eggshells with your white lieutenant and white sergeant or however that stuff go. You over there walking on eggshells. Why aren't you saying that? Because of that thing that Amber Guyger was talking about, that brotherhood, sisterhood. So you think you special? Them white police officers got you feeling like you special, black police? We already know that some of y'all is crooked as hell too. But the ones that claim that they're good and that they, protecting the black neighborhoods because they feel like they can do a better job than the white. Why do you feel that way? Can you break that down just a little bit better? So are you saying that there's some crookedness? Are you saying that they don't really know what they're doing? Are you saying that they're racist? Are you saying that these are the descendants of the slave owners? Because that's really who these people are. Them Dallas people, like once you sit back and really think about it, them Dallas police of Dallas, Texas in a whole, there's always some exceptions to the rules. Maybe some of them wasn't slave owners living in, with the plantations. But for the most part, think about it, black people, think about it, people. These are the descendants of those slave owners. Y'all better recognize what we sitting up here dealing with. You better recognize. It was something I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. I was going to say, when I read that article by WFAA, .com, and they went on to start telling us about Guyger's vest, how it fell on the floor. I'm telling you, I instantly had a feeling of Geneva. They are listening to the things that you all are saying. Shout out again to all the media blog sites who are authentically YouTubers, who are authentically talking about this case. But I believe that they are listening to us. I think that they are listening to us and they are reading our comments. And what they are trying to do is use that to help them out with their defense. Because I'm like, yeah, first of all, you didn't even mention Amber's police stuff being in the apartment because y'all was too, in the search warrants that y'all found that stuff. Because y'all was too busy mentioning about the marijuana. Okay. So you didn't even mention it. But so now all of a sudden, I feel like certain people done came out talking about that stuff and questioning what was that doing there, even though you all had said in the article that I read the other day, Saturday, when I talked about this, you said that you couldn't even say whose it was, even though we already knew that it was Amber's, just like how you all were basically saying that the weed was John's. We all knew that the police stuff was Amber's. But y'all hadn't said anything about that. Now, all of a sudden, you're letting us know. You feel the need to let us know that little piece. Oh, well, it must have fell when she was helping Botham John. What type? That doesn't even sound right. So she delirious as hell and she can't find her apartment. And then she kneeling over people, just dropping her stuff. She's just dropping her vest. Her vest is just falling off. Well, then why y'all keep mentioning too about the whole music thing? And there was a complaint. Why mention that? She didn't know him. Complain about what? Music what? She didn't know anything about him. So she made a complaint about who? She didn't know him. So how could she complain about somebody that she didn't know? I mean, which I guess she didn't know he stayed up there. She had never made a complaint on him. Just, so I don't even understand the purpose of mentioning that. But I just feel like that they are listening to us. And what I will not do is help them with their case. Us questioning stuff, I think for them, it's like, okay, so these are the things that people are questioning, that people want to know. So we're going to go and we're going to give them a little bit of information. So are you saying that the two-use medical stuff that was found on the floor, that was possibly Amber's because she had went down there to check and make sure that he was okay? So I choose not to help them out. I choose not to help the defense out with their case. That Amber, that they said that the grand jury have to decide how are they going to handle all of that. But yeah, I think that's crazy. I actually think that they are listening to the things that we're talking about, that we're questioning as far as this case. Because let's keep it real, people. We are some very smart people. The things that y'all sitting up here questioning about makes all the sense in the world. So I think I would probably do that. I would start paying attention to what people are sitting up there saying and feel like that we need to dot all our I's and, cross all the T's. So when we do get in court or, they trying to make Amber appear a certain way, so then when we put the information out there that, you heard the whatever in her voice and the stuff was down there because she had reached down to check and make sure he was okay and her stuff fell off because she's an idiot and she can't just do anything right. And her stuff fell off and she partially blind. Did y'all know she was partially blind? Because she did not see that fire engine red rug, like one of my people said, outside the door. It's crazy because I was initially thinking about coming on here talking about that Cat Williams whole situation. But then again, I really didn't even know if I wanted to talk about that because so many other people were talking about it. But, and then this came and then I was like, I don't know if I'm going to come on here and keep talking about this whole thing unless I really feel like that I'm hearing something like they really giving us some news. And Dallas and the Dallas Cowboys, matter of fact, that protest, they were also holding coffins. Did I mention that? That the protesters were holding coffins when they were walking, because not all they were held two coffins, not only for Botham John, but for another man that was killed, another young black man, if I'm not mistaken, that was killed out there a little bit before Botham John. Um, yeah, Dallas Cowboys. So they were blocking that. So I wonder if, like, is the Dallas Cowboys going to say something about that? Like, are they going to question that or no? Because that's their state. You know, they can't make their state mad, because then, because we know how white people are. White people are very patriotic, and they act like sports is like the American flag to them. Like, they're very patriotic, even with sports. Like, I don't even know if you can put that together, but they seem to be like they will die for sports. Don't mess with white people in their sports. They will die for sports, because we see how they handle this whole Colin, whatever, Kaepernick. So I don't know. I mean, when you think of sports, there's a lot of black people that's doing that. So football, there's a lot of black people. Are the black sports football players on the Dallas Cowboys, are they speaking of this? Or do you know not to say anything because you don't want to somehow mess up your check, have them coming for y'all as a whole? You don't want to walk out on that field and they throwing cancer stuff at you, throwing tomatoes at you, telling you that you're racist. Black people, we always feel like we got to walk on eggshells and that you can't speak your truth. You can't speak your truth and say what you want to say because you feel like you got to tiptoe around them and you worried about their feelings and how they going to respond to stuff. Don't nobody give a damn. They always respond in a certain way to stuff. That's why you got to speak your mind. Look, I am so happy that I'm not on a huge media site, and I am able to say what the hell I want to say and give my opinion about this, because that's what we need. We need honesty, people, because we have a lot of biased media stuff going on and they just telling us any old thing and literally trying to listen to what we're saying to help them with their case. That's what they're doing, people. But anyway, I'm about to be done so I can go work out. Make sure you follow me again on my Facebook page at Geneva's Closet. Also, make sure that you like and share this video and subscribe to Geneva's Closet if you haven't already done so, people. And yeah, it's a shame. Feel free to leave your comments, people. I know y'all gonna have some wonderful things to say. We should probably watch what exactly we are saying, because they're watching what we're saying and our questions to help them out with their case. So, people, okay, black people, they paying attention. We think they're not, but they definitely are. We see you, Dallas, Texas. We see you. You all have a fabulous day, and I will talk to you later, people. Bye.